Dame i gospodo, predstavljamo vam današnjeg keynote govornika Martina Kerna, direktora Evropskog instituta za inovacije i tehnologiju. Gospodine Kern, izvolite.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Minister Popovic, ministers from the region, Your Excellencies. I'm really happy to be here today and help to open the Innovation Talk event, which seems to be a fantastic opportunity to discuss pertinent matters related to any innovation. And I would like to warmly thank the Minister and the organizers for this opportunity to present to you the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, which indeed should be present on any talk about innovation, I believe. European Institute of Innovation Technology was set up as an experiment by the European Union 10 years ago and has now grown into the largest innovation ecosystem, innovation network in Europe, with over 1,000 partners from industry, startups, SMEs, research organizations, universities, governments, others working together across Europe in 40 hubs. And unfortunately, the participation of the countries in the region, in the Western Balkans, is not yet at the level where we would like it to be. And that's why I'm here today and would like to share with you some thoughts about innovation in general, and in particular, how to work more closely together in the region and in Europe to have a stronger innovation capacity. But let me start with a small confession, because personally, for me, the Western Balkans and in particular also Serbia are very close to my heart, because some of you may know that I have worked here in Serbia for a number of years, supporting Serbia's preparation for accession to the European Union, which I've also done before in the Baltic states and in Romania and Bulgaria, and I feel there is still a missing link, homework to be done in Europe to ensure that the countries of Western Balkans can become part of the European Union. So I also want to personally support that as much as I can. And I know also then from personal experience the diversity in Serbia and in the region, its great economic, scientific and innovation potential, and that the Western Balkans as a region have a lot to offer, in particular if there is more closer cooperation, and they can really become one of the engines for Europe's social economic development. In the context of the enlargement perspective of the Western Balkans, you have made very significant progress recently in the region, and I think that is a very positive sign. But it's of course of utmost importance that the reforms, and in particular also investments into research and innovation, continue, because they will be the drivers of the economic growth, and without the economic development, it will become extremely difficult to fill the gap and to join the European Union and fulfill all the requirements. If you listen carefully, I use the word potential, and I think that is important, that there's a huge potential, but we don't yet do enough to exploit that potential that the region has in science, in research, in technology, and not enough of it is turned into innovations, and not enough great entrepreneurs come out of Serbia, come out of the region. And that's not only true for this region, it is actually true for Europe as a whole. We have seen this in the digital sphere in the last decade. The big players, the big innovators have come from other parts of the world, from the United States and from Asia. So we should be also self-critical enough to confess that in this field, Europe has missed the train to some degree. And that is something that has to give us strong lessons for the future, because the speed of technological progress, as the Minister mentioned, is accelerating, and so are the opportunities for innovation. And if Europe does not get its act together, then we risk that that becomes also the consequence in other fields. Simply that other parts of the regions, other parts of the world will move forward faster. Why is it so that Europe does not invest more into innovation and research? For us, that is a real paradox, because the economic logic of it is very, very strong. And only this year, the Nobel Prize for Economics went to Mr. Paul Romer, who has the endogenous growth theory, which clearly proves the link between innovation capacity of a region, of a country, and its economic performance. So an investment in innovation is an investment into your job creation, into your economic well-being. So really paradox that not more is done about it at national levels, at regional level, and also at European level. And it's against this background that 10 years ago, the European Union set up the European Institute of Innovation and Technology to help the countries of the European Union, but also the candidate countries and others to change that and to support them to build innovation capacity, and in particular to support a closer cooperation between universities, research organization, and business. And why is that needed? It is needed because only with a strong innovation ecosystem we can actually continuously create the talents, the entrepreneurs, the businesses, the startups, and the success stories that Europe needs to become more competitive. But unfortunately in Europe, very much if you have a business, be it small or big, your immediate concern is about having a great product, a great profit, maybe great customer service, but very little thinking goes into working with the universities and schools to make sure in the long run we also have the right skill set and talents that you as a business, in particular an innovative business, needs. Equally, very often universities have a very strong focus on great research, great teaching, and that's what they focus on, but how much are they thinking on what happens to their students afterwards? Are they facilitating students to become entrepreneurs, to set up companies, to give them also the type of skill sets to become creative and innovators? And equally, research organizations want, of course, to deliver great science, great research, great projects, but are they very much concerned on how this great science and research is turned into product services actually needed by citizens and helping us to solve the challenges that we face? So these are some of the topics the EIT set out to address and try to change. And that's why for us the answer lies in having strong innovation ecosystems. And I don't know if it's possible to show some of the slides that I brought. There's a slide on ecosystems which shows the importance of all the different actors, the universities, the research organization, the business to work together, but also to facilitate that through the governance, through the governments, the regional authorities, through investors, and actually have a much more integrated ecosystem. And you do not have to look very far to see that where you have such very condensed, closely interlinked ecosystems, this is where the big innovations continuously get created. That may be in some of the big capitals and hubs in Europe, but it's certainly happening in some of the big centers in Asia, in China, or in Silicon Valley. So we have examples that strong innovation ecosystem continuously drive innovation, and that is a strong lesson to be learned and to be followed. Now, how can we support that from the side of an instrument such as an EU agency, the European Institute of Innovation and Technology? We have taken a very unique approach, an approach that hasn't been tried in Europe before, meaning we will work at pan-European level. So it is an instrument that is a long-term support working along the whole innovation chain. It is working with the university, with the students, to make sure most of our students can become entrepreneurs. It is working with concrete ideas, helping them to come out of the laboratories, out of the research organizations, to become products and services. And it's working on the creation of startups and helping them to grow, to accelerate. Now, we've been doing this for 10 years. We've been very intensively delivering entrepreneurship and innovation, and I think the results are now something to be very proud of and have actually changed the European innovation landscape. By now, the EIT has 1,000 partners working together, but not just working together, but have actually brought 600 products and services to the market. And those products and services are special ones because they have attracted over 900 million euros of investment from the private sector, from external capital. And they include companies such as Navia, which is cutting-edge technology for autonomous vehicles, which is actually already deployed in France, but also in the United States. We have companies such as Tado, which has a smart climate control system that can make huge energy efficiency savings and have already attracted over 100 million euros by themselves. And we have companies such as Konux, which uses artificial intelligence to have sensors on machines, on infrastructure, for example, on railway. They have a huge contract with Deutsche Bahn in Germany, and like that can slash the costs for machine maintenance by millions, if not billions of euros. And the unique feature of the EIT is that it's focused on societal challenges. So we do not support any type of innovation, but we want to make a difference for citizens and help Europe to solve its big challenges. And what are those big challenges? One of the biggest ones, of course, is climate change. So we have an innovation community that helps to mitigate and address the challenges related to climate change. We have an innovation community on digitalization, and in fact one of the colleagues is here today, and you will have an opportunity to learn more and meet him in one of the panels later on. So I encourage you very much to take the opportunity given by that. We have an innovation community dealing with sustainable energy, so the green energy revolution that Europe needs to continue to remain competitive in the field of energy, reduce energy prices, and turn more and more into green sustainable energy solutions, for which innovation is needed more than anything. We have an innovation community that deals with raw materials, which is an ultimate challenge in Europe because we are highly dependent on raw materials, and without raw materials, all the innovations will not materialize. So we need new solutions, substitutions, innovations to address and to limit that dependency. And we have an innovation community on health and active aging, helping all of us to live longer, healthier, more active life into an old age. Plus, and I'm really excited about that, next week we are about to designate 2 new innovation communities in the field of manufacturing, so Industry 4.0, also one of the topics in the talks today, and one on urban mobility, which I think everyone living in cities and also facing the negative effects from mobility, traffic jams, pollution, can very much sympathize with the need of innovation in this field. At that moment, the EIT will have 8 innovation communities, and that is our mandate for the period of 2014 to 2020 as an EU body under Horizon 2020 program of the European Union. And we have a budget of 2.4 billion euros for that. So the opportunities to work with this very, very strong innovation ecosystem are enormous. And it's really an invitation for all of you to participate. Now, what do we do concretely? Because I gave you some examples of the results, but I also want to speak a little bit more concretely, how is it possible to participate? And there I would start and like to start with the field of education, because without education, without skilled talents, entrepreneurs, there will be no innovation. And that is something that is very often forgotten. When we talk about technologies, when we talk about concrete innovation products, we do need the skills in Europe. We do need to attract the talents in Europe that are leaders, and we need to retain them, because very often we do have great innovators, but because we do not give them the right level of support, innovation ecosystem, infrastructure, they decide to leave and move their business to the United States or Asia. And that is, of course, a massive loss. So we also need to retain the talents that we have. Our education programs focus at the moment primarily on the master and doctoral level in universities, but we also have a number of other shorter education formats, starting from schools, going into professional education. What they all have in common is that they focus on giving students not just a skill set that gives them technical skills, meaning to become a computer scientist, to become a world-class engineer, or develop skills in the field of medicines, health, but also gives them entrepreneurship skills. So they also have the mindset, the thinking, and the know-how, how they can turn ideas into a successful product, into a successful business, because that's often a skill that a university or a researcher doesn't naturally get by being very focused on his topic. So we want the entrepreneurs of tomorrow to be strong on the topic, but also be strong on entrepreneurship. All of our programs also have a mobility dimension, because we believe it is absolutely critical that as a good education, you not just have experience in one place, but you go around. And for example, our master programs require a minimum of 2 universities to go through for a student. So he may take 1 year in a university such as KTH in Stockholm, and then move a second year Technical University of Eindhoven, and like that has already an experience from 2 different countries, 2 different ecosystems, and of course also builds up an international network. So the mobility, the entrepreneurship dimension, and also the closeness to real-life challenges, and that also means working with industry, working with business, are part of all of our education activities. And we can see that the students coming out of these programs have a special skill set and have a special mindset to become entrepreneurs and not just to focus on their particular field of expertise. So that is about our education programs. We also have programs to support business creation, focused on making startups out of good ideas, helping students at an early stage to become entrepreneurs and to set up companies, and then if they already have a successful startup, to help them to accelerate and growth very fast, because it is also about competition. It is not good enough to have an idea, and if others are faster, you will get overtaken. So the EIT also has many award-winning acceleration programs that help companies to scale up, that help companies to grow. And how do we do that? We do that by putting the innovator in the center. So it is not just a matter of giving a successful startup some money. That is easy enough, but they need the services around it. So the entrepreneur also needs customers, so we connect them to the big companies. They may need big investors, so we have an investment community around the EIT who can invest. We can help them to access new markets in Europe or outside Europe. For example, EIT also has a hub in Silicon Valley, so that can also be an opportunity to access markets and give the innovator whatever he needs. So the innovator is in the center. It doesn't get some pre-described services, but our innovation communities talk to them and help them to find out what he needs to go to the next level and become a success story. And then we have innovation projects where companies, typically from industry, with big research organizations, so Siemens, Philips, working with Fraunhofer, with others together, work on concrete products, on concrete innovative products that can be put on the market. This is the range of activities of the EIT in a nutshell, but there is one very, very important additional dimension. And this is something we introduced in 2014 and is of extreme relevance for all of you here. It's the EIT's Regional Innovation Scheme. Because we realized that naturally the partners working with the EIT are some of the top universities, top businesses, top research organizations in Europe, many of which happen to be geographically concentrated in what we may call the old member states in Western Europe, Northern Europe. But EIT is a body for the whole of Europe, and we believe that only if the whole of Europe develops its innovation capacity, we can really grow, and Europe as a whole can become more competitive, again, globally. That's why we set up a dedicated scheme that has 2 purposes: to allow the participation of partners from Central and Eastern Europe, and actually all the countries with lower innovation capacity, and that includes most of the countries from the Western Balkans, to participate in our program. So to set aside financing which is dedicated just for their participation. And secondly, to help to transfer the good practices, the know-how, the results, the actual product services, to bring the innovations and the good models into the region. So the Regional Innovation Scheme has been extremely successful. It has been extremely attractive. 18 countries have joined in the last 3 years to participate in the scheme, and we have seen a big spike of participants from the countries, including also from Serbia and others in the region. And this scheme is still growing because it's still a fresh scheme, so every year we're now increasing it. So there are enormous opportunities for countries from Central and Eastern Europe to be part of that. So I would really like to put out an invitation here to become part of the EIT community and to join through the Regional Innovation Scheme, because only then we will have the complete map of Europe. So we will have our 40 innovation hubs, which already exist, and we by now have another 60 partners in the region that are linking up to them, can benefit from the activities, and can also participate. So that is for the EIT's Regional Innovation Scheme. And one of the latest initiatives we have, which is also extremely interesting for you, is a digital education action plan by the European Commission. So actually, Commissioner Gabriel, which you just saw speaking, together with Commissioner Navracic from Hungary, who is in charge of the EIT, decided that even more needs to be done for digital skills development, because our school system, our university system has not been responsive enough to train the people with the skills that they need tomorrow, with a huge opportunity that's coming up. So the Digital Education Action Plan was put in place, and the EIT immediately committed to participate in it. So our innovation community on digital helps to provide training on cybersecurity. Our innovation community on energy helps to provide pilot projects for digital skill development on artificial intelligence, and the Climate Kick innovation community to tackle climate change has also initiatives for hackathons to come up with future education models, because education system also has to be disruptive and is in need of innovation. And at the EIT headquarters, we provide specific courses on gender entrepreneurship, women entrepreneurship, and help to huge untapped resource of women, help them to participate in innovation activities, because very often women are still in the minority, both at the school level, but also when it comes to entrepreneurs. So that is another topic the EIT has championed and is very strongly promoting. So you can see that the EIT has been also constantly evolving. We create new innovation communities, new initiatives, and try also to be innovative as an organization. Because in a strong innovation ecosystem, it's not just the entrepreneurs, the researchers, and the students who need to be innovative, but also the governance system around it needs to be flexible and adapt, and we have been trying to do so. So I would like to come to an end here, but simply to make a call to you to take those opportunities which exist, also to have a certain wake-up call, because Europe faces an innovation emergency, and to become part of the EIT and the huge innovation community and its opportunities that we offer. That means for students who want to become more entrepreneurial, the EIT is the place to be. For startups who are innovative and cutting edge and have ideas that could be breakthrough innovations, we can help them to get started and we can help them to accelerate. So EIT is the place to be for them. For universities who don't just want to be focused on traditional research and teaching, but see themselves as part of the innovation ecosystem and want to be more innovative, EIT is the place to be. And also for research organizations who want to make sure that good research results are put into products and services and helping to solve the big challenges that society faces, the EIT is the place to be. And of course also for big businesses and also for governments, because governments has a key role to facilitate. So once again, really thankful for Minister Popovic to give me this opportunity to share with you the EIT's insights insights and the EIT's learning in the first 10 years and invite you to be part of the journey in the future, the next 10 years and beyond, because I hope the Western Balkans, by participating, can again become one of the powers of Europe in research and innovation and also in economic development. And this conference is an excellent start to make that happen. Thank you very much.